In module 125, we will discuss accreditation of teacher education institutes and agencies. And in this module, we will discuss the procedures, regulations, and the practices in American system of accreditation of teacher education programs and the system. As you know that the accreditation of the professional programs or the teacher education programs is a national process in Pakistan, and it is also and it's considered in the same way throughout the world, and especially when we talk about the American system, that is a national accreditation process. And since the education is still in transition and many changes, economic changes, social changes, and cultural change, and the political changes are taking place, and with the ages and with the passage of time, the process of the education is taken as still in the transition. And the present the education in the United States of America maintains one of the recognized national professional accreditation agencies in the world. It is if we compare this this project or this activity, it is the older one, about say more than 60 years old one, and it is also one of the basic or the pioneer teacher education accreditation systems, and it has been respected throughout the world as far as the American system of teacher education is concerned. Higher accreditation of the United States higher education institutions. There we have to keep in mind two things: accreditation of the higher education system and accreditation of the teacher education system. As far as higher education system is concerned, it origins in a New York State law of New York State at 1787. And the state of the New York, the University of the State of the New York was responsible to conduct the visits and accreditate the universities of that states. And with the development of the regional accreditation associations, means in the provincial or the state levels, was started in the later part of the 19th century. Initially, the Colorado state of the department experienced or experimented the alternate approach of the accrediting high schools. Means number one, and this is the possible alternatives. It was called as the accrediting by contract, and that program and in that process of the accreditation, different routes were to be adopted. National Council for the accreditation of the teacher education. For example, when I talk about the higher education system, that is the university system, but we call entire university education system. When we talk about the teacher education system, means only the programs of the teacher training. So that institutions, that the body that give accreditation in the America, that's called NCATE, National Council for the Accreditation of the Teacher Education. That was established in 1952. And it was established as a joint council with equal representation from public school, means government school representations, preparing colleges, for example, B.Ed colleges, and state education legal authorities of that state. For example, it is New York, then the New York's legal department was involved. One, the teacher training institution, the concerned school, and the state education legal authorities. There was a naturally opposition to the each new initiative. That's a natural reaction from different stakeholders, and that happened to the Nikete also. And but that was based on different considerations. Number one, the contention that there is no need of the professional accreditation of the teacher education. Some people were of the view there is no need of the accreditation. It is like doing MA in literature and MA in linguistics and MA in political science, MA in international relations, like this. No need of doing or BS in education is equal to the BS in political science and international relations, so no need of the accreditation. Other was, and there were the regional association procedures, and there is too heavy the representation of the education. These were the considerations that became the reasons of the opposition. And we already know that the NICET, National Council for Accreditation of the Teacher Education, that is the body in America for the accreditation of the teacher education programs. There are alternatives. So the alternatives were based on the cooperatives, partnership approach, and pursued that pursued so enthusiastically in 1950s. Now that's agreed upon consideration or the considered view that there is a need of the accreditation of the teacher education programs because of it makes the accountable for the quality of education or the lack of it. If either it is the quality, maintenance of the quality, if it's not maintenance of the quality, who decides? So that's why there is a need of the accreditation council. And which concept of the purposes of the public school is to prevail? For example, merit or otherwise, which concept? So this is to be decided by the council. There is a growing trend towards greater resilience on accreditation by legal authorities. On the reliance of the accreditation on accrediting by the legal authorities. For example, the government or the public or the parents or the private sector, or the students or the supervisors or the managers would rely if the program is accredited. If it is either it is provincial, in the American system there is a provincial as well as the federal government system. And there was a strong movement in America for making the legislation of the accreditation programs. Otherwise, because that movement of a procedure of the accreditation was not accepted with the due significance. Purpose of the accreditation, basically it is maintenance of the policies or the continuity of the policies of the admissions and maintenance of what are the minimum standards, quality standards, academic standards, and what are the maximum standards. And with the passage of time, the standards varied and the standards increased, and their because of the different dimensions coming in the education process that were supposed to be reflected in the accreditation process. And for accreditation is followed by the self-improvement, and to prevent dilutions of the standards should be maintained in the proper spirit, and accreditation tends to become a power of the struggle to control over the nature of the content of the education. If the accreditation process is there, that will suggest and identify what kind of the content and the procedures are being adopted and what should be and what should not be. And the students and the parents are protected of the fraudulent institutions if they are recognized. That is to be recognized by the accreditation councils or the bodies. United States Office of the Education has a very important role in the accreditation process because it is the federal legislation body, and there is a requirement of the accreditation by the federal body because of the funds to be given by the federal government, and if the funds are given by the federal government, then for the maintenance and the assurance of the quality, the Federal Accreditation Council is there. According to the federal law, the United States Commissioner of Education is required to publish the list of the recognized institutions and non-recognized institutions, and they are based on the recognized and non-recognized is based are the determined on the by the reliable authorities and as the quality of the training offered by the institutions. And there is accreditation there, the list of the accreditation activities of that National Commission on the Accreditation of in the United States of America, and with the passage of time the significance is increasing and the support of as a support for the education. Some future possibilities with the let me highlight that the in American system there is considered opinion that with the passage of time there will be the more importance of the accreditation council, and there will be the more stronger and most significant institutions for the quality maintenance in the system. And it is also for the sake of the distribution or the allocation of the funds, and different bodies are there as allied bodies for the as institutions or the systems of in America, and they have the influence on the teaching professions as the NECATE may increase the influence and the acceptance of the teacher education processes. And there are major issues in this activity. For example, number one, can teaching maintain a voluntarily national professional accreditation body? For example, if I am principal of the college, I can offer my services for or my institutions or accreditation volunteer services. What are the overriding dangers in the legal accreditation? And what are the valid roles of the practitioners in accreditation of the teacher education programs? Is autonomy in a legal sense possible for public school practitioners? And the fifth consideration is what are the conflicts of interest that tend to create division or separatism among the specialties in the teaching profession? What are the needed reforms in the teacher education certifications? If you give the answers, if you consider, if you think of the answers, these become the reasons of either to establish accreditation councils or not. What is the importance, what is not the importance of the accreditation bodies and the councils. Same in Pakistan like the American system.